Mike Steph, this marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hot the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music, mixed for living. Rep New York City, but ain't the politician. Always bring the heat, Steph baking in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the word of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world of what he does. Tap in. What up, people? What up, people? What the is up, people? Welcome to another edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. Yes. Not only just another edition, not only just another episode. No. It's episode number 8. The Ocho, if you will. You know, I had all intents and purposes of starting this episode off with a little ditty from the past. But of course, this is the time that I must have some StreamYard slander. See, the way I've been trying to set this podcast up is I put the little, intro music in, and I put the little logo right in the middle. And while I'm doing that, I'm kind of setting everything up, and I'm trying to sync it. It happened the first time. It synced the first time, and then since then, I haven't been able to sync it since correctly. But regardless, like I said, it's a work in progress. But the thing is, when I press start record, and then I press the button for my intro music to come, and then the little clock, well, you don't see it, but there's a clock right in that corner that lets me know how long I've actually been live for. When I press the beginning for my intro music to start, it's already at 5 seconds. And I'm like, how is that? If I just press the button, it doesn't take me 5 seconds to press this button, then scroll down and press that button. No. But regardless, that's the way it is. Today, well, should I say this week, your boy, even though the current face belies the mood that I'm actually in, is in a very good mood. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because not just one, uno, but dos of my teams. I swear, I need to stop doing this primitive Spanish shit. But regardless, both of my teams won today in NBA playoff action. The New York Knicks took a commanding 3-1 series lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers. And in the second half of the afternoon doubleheader, I don't give a rat's ass about these night games that are currently going on right now. But in the second half of the afternoon doubleheader, my Golden State Warriors held on by the hairs of their chinny chin chin to tie their first round series against the Sacramento Kings. 2-2. Like I said, I just said I'm going to stop with this primitive ass Spanish. And here I go, dos. No, that's 2 and 2. I don't know what 2 means, but regardless. I'm in a great mood. I'm in such a great mood. Like I said, I wanted to start it off with a little ditty, but I'm going to say it like this. Do re mi, but I don't sing, motherfucker. 2 teams, 2 wins, motherfucker. I've been on an old school West Coast rap kick the last couple days. I've been listening to the Alcoholics. It's the licks, baby. It's the licks. It's the licks, baby. It's the licks. Even though no licks for yours truly. Damn. One of these years. But yeah, I've been listening to the Alcoholics, and I've been listening to King T, the original Alcoholic. And that ditty came from a song with King T and Ice Cube and Breeze. Played like a fucking piano. One of my most favorite songs back in the day when I was in high school. Dun, dun, dun. You know, this goes out to the Mojo King, the Hidden Gem Czar himself, and maybe one of these years or one of these months or one of these weeks, he'll actually talk about this on Hip Hop Hidden Gems, because I believe this is the hidden gem itself. Do you know that Played Like a Fucking Piano, or Played Like a Funky Piano, and The Fugitive by K Solo shared the same beat, just slightly a little different, but same beat. Dun it, dun 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 it. I swear, that's the one thing I hate about being on YouTube. Because if this was my audio version, which I'll get to in very short minute, I would actually just play the fucking music and really wouldn't care. But being the fact that I'm trying to get some type of grasp on viewership on YouTube, I don't want any copyright strikes, so I just have to pretty much do it by my mouth. Which, pause, sounds kind of icky. And speaking of pause, yeah, I'm gonna bring it up right now while it's on the top of my tongue. Yeah, I'm letting y'all know right now. I'm gonna be all over the place as usual, but probably even more so because I just am. Fellas. Yeah, fellas. I'm gonna exclude the ladies, even though it has something to do with the ladies, but I'm gonna exclude the ladies right now because I'm gonna talk to the fellas. And oh yeah, I should have probably put this at the beginning, but parental discretion is strongly advised, but will be completely effing ignored. And this is probably good enough to give me an NC-17 rating. Fellas, another song that I've been listening to over the weekend, which isn't rap, but it made me think of this. TLC, Red Light Special, all through the night. Baby, it's yours, I'm yours. If you want it tonight, take off my clothes, open the door, and turn on the red light. Fellas, and be honest with me. Be honest with me down in the comments. Even though I know y'all probably like, well, I look like telling my business like that. Well, it's the social distance Mike Steph. There's no boundaries that we don't go over. I mean, shoot, my commercial says it all. I'm a wild man, right? Fellas, have you ever ran that red light? Have you ever had a red light special all through the night? There's a reason why I'm the self-proclaimed best in the world at what he does. Because, yeah, Mike Steph is running some red lights. I haven't got no moving violations, though. That's in the past, though. That's in the past. But I don't know. For some reason, that song came to my head, Red Light Special, and I just had to throw that out there. So please, if you're half the man that you claim to be, all my men out there that's listening, put down in the comments, put a droplet of blood. I told you I'm bloodline all the way. I'm wilding already. put a blood emoji in the comments if you down with that Red Light Special. Listen, best in the world at what he does. Okay. All seriousness. One thing I do want to bring up before I actually get this show on the road, before I really can't get myself canceled. Not that I care. The audio version. Hopefully, and probably only a minuscule amount of people probably subscribe to the audio version of the Salty Daughter Mike Steph, the flagship, if you will, the mothership. But this is something I neglected to tell y'all last week because, tell you the truth, it was right off the top of my head, and when I got the vibe, I just did it. Throughout the NBA playoffs, yours truly will be dropping the world-renowned, hardly ever listened to, sprinkle assaults throughout the NBA playoffs. And do you know what sprinkle assaults are? I'll tell you. Sprinkle assaults actually originated 2 years ago in the NBA playoffs. It's when I have such a hot take at the moment that I can't wait until the following week for the long version, the actual podcast, that I have to just put a little mini episode in to get my ish off. And this past week, a situation arose during the Golden State Warriors series, which I'll talk about later on when I get into the Warriors, that made me not want to wait until today to get into, because by that time it probably would have been obsolete. So I said, you know what? Let me take it old school. Not only did I take it old school with the sprinkle assault, no. I took it old school with the good old car studio. And for long-time listeners of the Salty Thought podcast, whether it was Donnie Ooh or Mike Steph, they know pure magic happens when I go into the car studio and record. And that's exactly what happened this past week. But being the fact that I'm multi-platform here, I want to give a little bit of special acknowledgement to my day one listeners. And I also want to invite all the new viewers of the Salty Thought of Mike Steph podcast to let y'all know that maybe once a week, depending on what happens in various series, and you should know that I'm really concentrating on my New York Knicks and my Golden State Warriors, those two series. But if something happens throughout the week, be on the lookout for maybe a special drop of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, audio version. And guess what? It will be audio only. There will not be a video, video drop. So for you to stay in the know, this is what you need you to do. Well, this is what I would love for you to do. On whatever platform you decide to listen to me on, the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph is available on the following platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the formerly named Anchor.fm, amongst others. Whatever platform you decide to listen to me on, press that subscribe button, press the follow button, whatever, press the notification button, more importantly, so whenever I decide to drop a special sprinkle of salt audio version, audio only version, you will be the first ones to hear it. Yeah. For those who didn't listen, please check out the audio feed, and you will see the sprinkle of salt episode entitled "Beam These Nuts in Your Mouth, Not in Your Hands." Yes, where I will get into the situation that arose this past week concerning Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors and Domantas Sabonis of the Sacramento Kings, and how the NBA decided to use the little, to kind of nudge the little chess piece across the board and try to box the Warriors in. But they were not successful. And you know what else wasn't successful? Me entitling this the intro. 16 minutes into the podcast. I swear it gets later and later and later every year, every week. Later and later and later. Intro. How is this an intro when I'm about to go to topic number 1 in a very few minutes? It is what it is. It is what it is. So I think I should get this episode up and running. So without further ado, good night and goodbye. Bang! Ain't that a bitch? NBA playoffs. The Knicks and the Cavs. It's not game 1, but y'all know what I was talking about. Knicks and the Cavs game 1. Shoot. You know what? I should do some on-the-job editing, but guess what? I ain't doing it. You know why I'm not doing it? Because it is what it is. But yeah, the Knicks and the Cavs. The last time we spoke last week, we was talking about game 1, right? And with an exhilarating victory for the Cavs. For the Knicks. But guess what? Game 4 was more the same. Not only did we win game 1, yeah, we lost game 2 in depressing fashion, but we came back home to the Mecca, baby. We came back home to the Mecca this past Friday night. And I'm devoting the first segment of this podcast to my beloved New York Knickerbockers. And I swear, it's almost like a weekly occurrence. And I love, once again, shout out to the creator of my spiffy logos, of my spiffy border, of my colors. Well, yeah, my color scheme, even though I thought, the colors I gave him. But shout out to Brad Winchester of Gimmick Infringement. Because without him, none of this would be possible. Because I ain't gonna lie, I'm just not that artistically inclined or patient enough to actually do it myself. But I love the color scheme. You know why? You want to know why? Because every week it seems like I happen to match the color scheme that's on the screen in front of you. I told y'all before. I've told y'all in the past. I told you, and I'm going to tell y'all now. Mike Steph bleeds orange and blue and green. My Knicks, my Mets, and my New York Jets. Jets, Jets to be exact. I'm not going to lie. I swear, if it didn't throw off the color scheme, I would add some yellow in this, but that'll be going a little bit too far for the gold. But just know, gold-blooded is all in my veins. But we're talking about the Knicks right now. You know what? You know, I'm such a Knicks fan. You know what the M stands for? Yeah, that's right, Mike Steph. Anyway, this past Friday night, the Knicks came home with the series tied 1-1. Uno y uno. Here I go with that broken ass Spanish again. And a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure was on the Knicks, in my humble opinion, because you had the pundits out there that just thought that us Knicks faithful was overdoing it once again, or in their words, as usual, we get one victory and we act like we won the championship. But not only that, we was able to come home with the series tied 1-1 with a chance to put a stranglehold on this series if we won both of these games. Not only put a stranglehold if we won both of these games, but actually deflate and take the starch out of the Cleveland Cavaliers in their one-man band. And that one-man band is named Donovan Spider Mitchell. And that's exactly what we did. In game 3 this past Friday, the culprit, the GOAT, if you will, of the Cleveland Cavaliers was not Spider Mitchell, even though he didn't have a great game, was Darius Garland. Darius Garland, do you know what he shot in game 3? He was shook. He was scared to death. In a game that we won by 20, 99-79. He shot 4 for 21 in game 3. See, JB Bickerstaff, he fell for the fool's gold. He thought he had the cheat code in containing Jalen Brunson. He threw Karis LeVert, and they started doing this. In game 2, they started doing this trap to get the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands. Karis LeVert is a little longer, a little lankier, and a little more athletic than Chetty Osman. And I told y'all from game 1, if they thought that Chetty Osman, if they were dependent on Chetty Osman to be the defensive stopper, they had another thing coming. There was no way in hell Chetty Osman was going to be the defensive stopper, and he hasn't been. So they decided to say, you know what? We're going to put Karis LeVert on there. And it worked in game 2. But credit to Coach Tibbs. Credit to the coaching staff of the New York Knickerbockers. Credit to Johnny Walker and the boys. We made adjustments. We made key adjustments. Instead of when we did the pick and roll or the screen, instead of the screener being either Mitchell Robinson or Hartenstein or Julius Randle, and that would leave the big and allow them to trap with a guard and a big, you know what the adjustment was? We started using another guard to come and set the screen for Jalen Brunson and allowed Jalen Brunson to stalk out the mismatch in which he felt he had the advantage of. And you know who he was stalking out the majority of the time? Donovan Mitchell. People don't realize that, and I said it last week, and I'm going to keep on saying it until the series is over, which will be in due time. Jalen Brunson has Donovan Mitchell's number. He's had it during the regular season, in which we won 3 out of 4 matchups. And he had it last year in the first round matchup in the Western Conference when Jalen Brunson was still a member of the Dallas Mavericks. And Donovan Mitchell was a member of the Utah Jazz. And the outcome is still the same. Jalen Brunson is busting Mitchell's ass. And on the small occasion that he does not get the favorable matchup of him versus Spider Mitchell, he gets the matchup of him versus Darius Garland. He just posting them up, baby, posting them up. And then if they try to be slick and put Chetty Osman on them, he just keeping them more balanced with the lefty. They tried to put Acapulco or Okporo, whatever the hell his name is, Acapulco. Him. He has some type of success, but guess what? The more that you leave him on the court, the less offense you have. And if Mitchell is struggling and Garland is struggling and Evan Mobley don't want no parts of Mitch Rob, and Jarrett Allen is not an offensive stalwart whatsoever. Once again, that works into our advantage. When we got Josh Hart getting offensive rebound after offensive rebound. When we got Obi Toppin today, he had 8 rebounds, 5 of them offensive, hitting clutch threes. Deuce McBride coming in the game. Lock. Hey, he had Donovan Mitchell on lock. And switched to 3. There's a lot of positivity coming out of here. A lot of positivity. And like I said, as long as we in these playoffs, baby, I'm gonna be rocking the orange and blue. I was actually gonna do something that was going to be very kind of unorthodox, but being the fact it's a 2-victory day, I was going to rock the Knicks hat with some Warriors gear. But I'm like, look, I'm a conceited dude. If I see myself back on the screen, I got to match. So I can't have orange and blue and black and gold. It just doesn't hit. But guess what? Hat coming. But yeah. Now, I've told y'all in the past that I'm all about the vibes. Not really a stat guy, but I got some stats to show you because guess what? I got my trusty ass notes again. Spider Mitchell in game 4 shot 5 for 18. 1 for 9 for 2 points in the second half. Disgusting. As one of my nephews would say, Jeremiah, disgusting. I swear he be killing me. Side note, last year for his birthday, I think what it was his 5th birthday, right? We had a little barbecue in the park, right? So we go to this basketball court and I'm shooting the ball and I'm missing. I'm clanking, clank, clank, clank. You know what my nephew said to me on his 5th birthday? You know what he said to me? He said this, Uncle Mike, you suck. I'm like, I suck. He's like, yeah, Uncle Mike, you suck. I was like, how I suck? You can't even hit the rim. He was like, it don't matter. Listen, Mike Steph loved the kids. But yeah, Spider Mitchell sucked. You know, the 2 games at the Garden, in which coincidentally was 2 victories. During the 2 games at the Garden, he has more turnovers, 12. Then he had assists, 10. Caris LeVert started his 2nd consecutive game, or was his 3rd consecutive? Yeah, his 2nd consecutive game, and he was not as effective as the prior 2. He had 14 points, but by them inserting him into the starting lineup, that left their depleted bench even more depleted. Their bench sucked. Yeah, they outscored us, but that's only because we took Josh Hart off the bench and inserted him in the starting lineup as a replacement for Grimes, because Grimes is out with the shoulder injury. And Josh Hart dropped 19 points. With Josh Hart is on a consistent basis being your third cog, not named Julius Randle, who I will get to in very few minutes. Those are signs of success. Like I said, Garland had a good second half in Game 4 after stinking it up in the first half. Let me see if I can get this real quick. Yeah, I just love the professionalism that I'm having on display. Darius Garland scored 21 of his 23 points in the second half, but it was not enough. It was not enough at all. Now, for the winners, for the shit. Well, no, I can't even say that. But for the winners, go the spoils. Jalen Brunson dropped 29 points in his consistently stellar fashion. 11 to 22. I think it was 6 rebounds, 4 assists, or 4 rebounds, 6 assists, something to that effect. Like I said, I'm about the vibes. But do you know who stepped up? Do you know who stepped up to plate? RJ Barrett, a.k.a. Rowan Barrett Jr. Yes, that's right. RJ Barrett's name is Rowan. I think I believe his father played for St. John's. If I'm not mistaken. Cause I remember Rowan Barrett. But regardless, RJ Barrett stepped up, and he needed to do so in the worst way because the first 2 games of this series, RJ Barrett was stinking it. First game 1, he had 7 points on 2 for 12 shooting. Game 2, also in Cleveland, he had 14 points but he on 4 for 13 shooting. And then he came home, got some home cooking, probably got some home loving, and he showed out. Game 3 this past Friday, 19 points on 8 of 12 shooting, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. And then today, with his breakout party, he had a career playoff high of 26 points on 9 for 18 shooting. The only blemish, if you want to say a blemish, the only blemish was his poor showing at the free throw line that could have came back to haunt us. I believe at last time I checked, and for some reason I didn't put these in my trusty ass notes. The Knicks as a whole were 11 to 19 from the line, and once again, I'm going to do some. Matter of fact, we were 18 of 28 at the line for 64%. That cannot continue to happen. But, this is how, and that's Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach, blowing up the group chat. So I had to mute it. Zzz, zzz, zzz. Sound like I'm getting shocked, but zzz. No, it's not. It's not me. Zzz. It's my phone. Zzz. It's Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach. But you know why the 64% from the free throw line did not bite us in the ass? Because we out-rebounded Cleveland by 14 to a tune of 47 to 33. And we out-rebounded them on the offensive glass to the tune of 17 to 7. Oh, that's strictly hustle. That's strictly wanting it more. That's strictly being more aggressive. RJ Barrett in particular, like I said, in the 2 home games, he scored a combined 45 points, as I mapped out earlier. Josh Hart once again was with the gritty play and dropping 19. Hartenstein and Robinson, Mitchell Robinson. Let me give them a little round of applause. Hartenstein and Robinson combined to snatch 19 rebounds in game 4. Obi Toppin played huge minutes after Julius Randle was effectively benched in the 4th quarter. You want to know why? Well, okay. There's 2 trains of thought when it comes to Julius Randle being benched. Train of thought number 1, he sucked. He sucked. He had a very nondescript game, totaling 7 points. Now, some would say that's because he missed the last 2 weeks due to the sprained ankle, and then he had the bad fall at the end of game 2 with the flagrant foul from Jarrett Allen. While that may be valid, here's my other train of thought. No, he just sucks. He's not built for the moment. He's shrinking in the moment again. And luckily, we have other players that we can depend upon, so we do not have to depend upon Julius Randle to come up big. Luckily, we actually have given Obi Toppin enough confidence throughout the season, and he has actually earned the trust of Tom Thibodeau to play big major minutes in the 4th quarter of a playoff game, a pivotal playoff game to be exact. This is an ongoing problem when it comes to Julius Randle. Remember 2 years ago against the Atlanta Hawks where they effectively took away his left hand and he had no place else to go? They played him to a right because they knew he wanted to spin back to his left. This year, we don't have to depend on Julius Randle. We have Jalen Brunson. We have RJ stepping up. We have we have Josh Hart stepping up. We have all these role players that are playing their position and playing it well. And one very important thing, we did not have Mitchell Robinson available 2 years ago. You know who we had? Norins Noel, who, through no fault of his own, played his ass off. But when he's really your second best player, matter of fact, he was his second best player behind Derrick Rose, who's not even getting any burn in this series. Yeah, y'all forgot about we got D Rose, right? He's not getting no burn in the series. 2 years ago, he was our go-to player, but the problem is we burnt him out. He was only good for 20 minutes a game, and we had to play him like 35 because Julius Randle did not do his part. Now, there is one thing that I am concerned about, and that's this. Emmanuel Quickly. If I would have recorded this early in the week, matter of fact, even before my sprinkle of salt, if I would have recorded this then, I would have said, Malcolm Brogdon getting 6th man of the year. We got robbed. It should have went to IQ. You know what I've noticed in these 4 games? And to his credit, I'll give Quickly credit first. He has played excellent defense. Excellent defense in the minutes that he has been on the court. He has not allowed his offensive woes to affect his defensive tenacity. And that should be applauded for. But going forward into this postseason, and maybe it's the matchup, but I don't think it's the matchup. Going forward into this offseason or into this postseason, whether it's against the Bucks or the Miami Heat, the Heat are up 2-1 in this series due to Giannis Antetokounmpo being injured, being out the majority of the series with the back injury suffered in the first half of Game 1. If we're going to go further, we need IQ to step up offensively, to be more aggressive. What I see is a player who, at least offensively, the moment is too big for them. They're scared. They're playing tentative. They know, and like I said, once again, I'll give them credit. They know this is not the time nor place to try to shoot yourself out of a slump. But there's too many times he has that opening that normally he would pull the trigger during the regular season, and he's passing it away. Numerous times I'm like, yo, if you're not gonna pull the trigger, get out the game. But he's proven himself to be valuable because of the defense that he's still playing while he's trying to work his way out of his offensive doldrums. So I will give him props for that. Now, the last thing I'm going to say on the Knicks subject, during the broadcast, you had Mike Breen, and you had Mark Jackson, and you had Jeff Van Gundy. Now, I'm quite sure Mike Breen knows exactly what Jalen Brunson was doing every time he shot a three, and he did some sign, but he would put it against his nose and go down the court. Now, Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson wanted to know. They was inquisitive and like, dog, I wonder what's that thing he keeps on doing with his head on his nose. I have my thoughts, which I'll get to in a minute. So in the post game interview, right after the game, because it was him and RJ, the co-stars of the game, and Lisa Salters asked, she was like, yeah, the commentators noticed that you were doing something with your hands and your nose. After every time you hit a three. So do you care to let us in on what that is? He very matter-of-factly said, don't worry about it. Other words, and this is not directed toward Lisa Salters at all. Other words, he was telling Van Gundy and Mark Jackson, mind your fucking business. I have a thought of what this means. I might be wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of things, but it's going to be amusing to tell you what. And I'm sorry, Sister Ooh, this has been a little bit explicit tonight, but I apologize. I'll try to do better next week, but I got to let this go. I believe the celebration that Jalen Brunson was doing every time he shot a three, and he just, and I keep on doing that, and then I clogged up my nose. Because allergies are the mother effer in the New York City right now. The maple, the pollen. Anyway, I believe Jalen Brunson, that celebration was the I smell pussy. Is that you, Mitchell? I smell pussy. Is that you, Garland? I smell pussy. Is that you, JB? I smell pussy. Is that you, Osmond? Y'all niggas is pussy. That's what I think. He was like, or it's like maybe every time he shoot, he got a little powder. Like, I need to stop doing that. I done clogged up my ear. Anyway, yeah, he pretty much told them, yeah, don't worry about it. Mind your business. Now, if anybody else knows the correct reason or the correct meaning of this, please, once again, drop something down in the comments. Liven up my comments. Because that would be a nice thing to do. The Knicks go to Cleveland with a chance to close out the series and potentially play the Miami Heat in the second round. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. You know what? You know what else was good? You know what was great? Besides the fact that both of my teams, the Knicks and the Warriors, won on the same day. The fact that all the naysayers, all the haters out there that have been praying for the downfall of the dynasty, the death of the dynasty, we'll have to wait at least 2 more games. I see all y'all out there. I hear all y'all out there. Y'all even had Joe Dumars try to do your dirty work for y'all by suspending Draymond Green. Not for the action that happened on the court, in which I expertly explained on the Sprinkle of Salt episode this past Wednesday. Check it out. You'll be glad you did. But talking about, yeah, I'm suspending him due to his past history of flagrant acts, his past history of technical foul, his past history of behavior. But yet, Joel Embiid can kick somebody in the family jewels. He doesn't get kicked out the game. James Harden, on a basketball move, and trust me, I'm not a James Harden fan, but James Harden, on a basketball move, inadvertently hit his defender in the family jewels. He gets kicked out the game. Sabonis grabbed Draymond's ankle in an ankle lock. And it was admitted. They said Draymond was punished because of his reaction to being grabbed by the ankle. But yet, he got suspended, Sabonis didn't. And you know what? I know this is unpopular opinion. That might have been the best thing that ever happened to the Golden State Warriors for this postseason, especially for this series. Not saying so much that Draymond wasn't needed. No. Because Draymond, tell you the truth, if we didn't have Draymond for game 4, we might be going back to Sacramento down 3-1. Especially after that spectacular block of Sabonis at the rim in the closing minutes. No, what I'm saying is this. What the NBA did in suspending Draymond Green, if there was any lack of focus, anger in the Golden State Warriors, you just instilled it in them, because now they have had the chance to galvanize the forces, galvanize the team, and come back with a vengeance. You know what Steph said after the Game 3 victory? When asked about whether or not Draymond Green's suspension, whether that was a unifying message for the team. You know what he says? Yeah, they said they had to suspend Draymond due to his past history. Guess what? We got a history also, meaning we 4-time champs. We got that championship DNA. They don't call us gold-blooded for no reason. All y'all did was waken the sleeping beast. Now, I am going to be a total open book. Probably too much of an open book, but I told y'all from the beginning, and I'll continue to tell y'all. I am not only a benevolent soul, I try to be as honest with my viewership, with my listenership as I can. Due to the fact that me and my daughter, Main Event K, had some business we had to take care of today, that had to be taken care of today, I could not visually watch my Warriors hold on by the hairs of the chinny chin chin to tie the game up to 2. So that's why this segment is actually going to be shorter than I planned on. But I will give y'all the highlights of what I saw, what I read, and what actually happened. Here's a interesting stat. Golden State is 15-6 in the playoffs when both Steph Curry and Klay Thompson score 25 or more points in the same game. Here's another interesting stat. The Golden State Warriors are 8-0, undefeated in the playoffs with Big Loon Dog, Kevon Looney, gets 10 or more rebounds in a game. And how about this for championship DNA? How about this for taking one for the team? Draymond Green, and it was actually confirmed in the post game by Steve Kerr. Draymond Green suggested that he come off the bench in Game 4 due to the fact that he saw how much success that the 4-guard lineup did in his absence. And I believe, and this probably won't come out because it probably won't, but I believe it's almost like a self-check. Like, okay, yo, I effed up. Y'all won without me. Y'all run for me. And I'm not going to mess up this groove. So I'm going to come off the bench, try to anchor our bench lineup, and then reacclimate myself back into the game as the time. Because regardless of whether Draymond was coming off the bench or not, he was still going to get the same minutes. He still was going to close the game like he did with excellent defense on De'Aaron Fox. In the second half, he came out in the second half in the starting lineup, and what did they do? They sicked them on De'Aaron Fox and just add a little wrinkle. That's the luxury of having the Swiss Army knife on defense. That is Draymond Green. Harrison Barnes of the Sacramento Kings, formerly of the Warriors. Main reason why we got Kevin Durant back in the day, because Harrison Barnes did something in the closing seconds of today's game that led to him being exiled from from this part of the Bay. Harrison Barnes missed a potential game-winning 3 at the buzzer in the elbow of the 3-point line. After, and this is another key point, after Steph Curry made an uncharacteristic mistake by calling a timeout when they had none left, which led to a technical foul. Barnes, Harrison that is, came through in the clutch for the Warriors. That's a shot that Harrison Barnes has been knocking down for the most part during this series. But as all Warriors fans know, when the pressure gets ratcheted up, the sphincter, the butt cheeks, get tight on one Harrison Barnes. Pause. What can he say? What can you say? Can't say nothing, my man. He came through at the clutch for the Warriors. Both teams are off. Talking about my Warriors and my New York Knicks. To this Wednesday, both teams get an uncharacteristic 2 days off. Actually, being the fact that both games are night games, 2.5 days off. Because I don't understand what's going on with this the scheduling shit. The New York Knicks had the 8 o'clock game on Friday. And then they have the first game on Sunday. So they had effectively 30. They had about 40 hours in between games. That's not right. That's not right. The Warriors, they had the Sunday matinee game, so to speak, in the butt. But for once, now both teams are still on track to play on the same day, which makes Mike, Steph, a happy, happy, happy guy. Only if they both win. Now, I wonder if I have a choice of who wins or who loses, which one would I be happier about? I'll tell you this. I won't be happy at all. But being the fact that the Knicks, even though I called the Knicks in 6, if the Knicks lose, we're still up 3-2. If the Warriors lose, we're down 3-2. So that gives you a little insight of who I'm rooting for to win. But hopefully I will be exulting in victory and on to the second round for my Knickerbockers. And then later that night, exulting in victory, knowing that the Warriors have a chance to wrap this series up at home in Game 6. Yeah, man. Beautiful thing. Now, even though I wasn't really going to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it. The rest of the NBA playoffs, best of the rest. Like I said earlier, the Miami Heat are leading the Milwaukee Bucks 2-1 with Game 4, pivotal Game 4 in Miami tomorrow night at 7:30. The Philadelphia 76ers swept the Brooklyn Nets out of the playoffs 4-0. They put them out their misery last night. And being the fact that I am a Brooklynite, don't let it fool you. I'm a Knicks fan all the way. And I will say, the Brooklyn Nets are fucking embarrassing. Yes, I said it. They're embarrassing. You want to know why they're embarrassing? Because guess what? Their last 3 playoff, matter of fact, 3 of their last 4 playoff appearances, They got swept out the playoffs. They are 0 for their last 10 in playoff action. You know, I was driving past the Barclays Center today. Me and Main Event K. And I looked and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. The Nets ain't playing. Nets are gone. They already got the banners up talking about May 21st. Get ready for the Liberty. And you know what? I'm going to be a bandwagon jumper. I'm going to go to a Liberty game this season. I think I'm going to bring Main Event K, and we're going to probably Liberty games are probably way more affordable than the Nets games, even though it probably should be reversed, being the fact that Liberty actually is championship aspirations. I think I'm going to try to put my feet on the hardwood and watch the Liberty hopefully bring a championship to Brooklyn, something that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving never had an opportunity to do. Matter of fact, they had an opportunity to do it. They just screwed it up. But yeah, the Sixers are in the second round, but they need this well-needed rest because Joel Embiid missed game 4 with a sprained knee. And there's no guarantee there's no way of knowing when he's actually going to be able to rejoin the team, which kind of sucks. It really does, because it seems like every year he gets into the playoffs and he gets nicked up just enough that gives him an excuse not to bring home the big one. Yeah, I said it. Now, in the other Eastern Conference matchup, you have the Boston Celtics leading the Atlanta Hawks 3-1 in their best-of-7 series. Their next game, and hopefully they can put Atlanta and shitty-ass Trae Young out his misery this coming Tuesday, 7:30, for Game 5 in Boston. Now, going to the West, right now, Minnesota is leading the number 1 seed, Denver Nuggets, 80-76 in the fourth quarter. Minnesota trying to stave off elimination, stave off being swept out of their misery. And tell you the truth, that's such a boring-ass series. Even though Ant-Man is going off, Ant-Man should have went off in the play-in game, and maybe you wouldn't be seeing this fate right now. So, yeah, just get out of here. And the last 2 games on the docket, I'm trying to figure out which one I'm going to. Matter of fact, I'll save my slander for last. The Los Angeles Lakers, lead their series against the Memphis Grizzlies 2-1 with Game 4 in Los Angeles coming tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Ja Morant dropped 45 in a Game 3 loss. He was talking mucho shit. Dylan Brooks got thrown out the game for hitting the king in his family jewels. But you know what this proves to me? This proves to me and everybody who agrees with me exactly what I've said for the last year and change. Memphis ain't shit at all. Memphis talks mucho-ish and can't back it up whatsoever. Ja talking mucho-ish, not realizing y'all were down 26 points in the first quarter. Y'all scored 9 points in the first quarter. You were 2 for 10 for the first 3 quarters on jump shots. Do you really think that the Lakers really were playing hard after they blew y'all out? After they had y'all was able to cut it down to 9, and the commentators are acting like it's still a game with 2 minutes to play. Game was over. And like I said, this is the series against two teams that I can't really stand. Well, Memphis I can't stand, and yes, I am a LeBron hater. But I hate Memphis that much more that I'm actually pulling for LeBron to put them out their misery. So yeah, that's Game 4 is up tomorrow night. In Game 5, in a very disappointing series, just for the fact of the injuries have really taken the gusto out of the series. The Phoenix Suns will attempt to move on to the second round because they're leading their best-of-7 matchup against the Los Angeles Clippers 3-1. Kawhi Leonard, in his 2 games that he played, game 1 and game 2, before being effectively out for the rest of the series due to a sprained knee himself, was averaging 34.5 points a game on 54.5 percentage. He was shooting 54.5% from the field, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. Paul George wasn't available for the series whatsoever. And you know who I feel bad for? I feel bad for Russell Westbrook. Because Russell Westbrook was put out the pasture, called a vampire of the locker room when he was with the Los Angeles Lakers. He was the GOAT, the scapegoat for everything that went wrong with the Lakers before he was unceremoniously traded. And he's had a renaissance series. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have enough help. He's averaging 26 points a game on 46% from the field, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 1.5 steals, almost 2 blocks a game. You just don't have enough help. I personally believe that a fully loaded Clipper squad would take out this Phoenix Suns fraudulent team of theirs. Yeah, I said it. Devin Booker, listen. Devin Booker, he dropped 45 in game 3. And he dropped a calm 30 in game 4. I will give the devil his due. He's been playing lights out on both ends. Kevin Durant, easy sniper. He's having an okay series. I just never want to see Chris Paul prosper at all. Angry old man. He's an angry old man. He's a bitter old man. And until he loses that bitterness, he will never see any success, any prolonged success, any sustained success in the league, in the postseason. Look at these numbers. 38 minutes a game. Yeah, you really think that's going to last? 13 points per game on 40% shooting from the field, 6 rebounds, 8.5 assists, 2.5 steals per game. But like I said, the big number on there is 38 minutes a game. You really think Chris Paul is going to hold up, or before he himself end up on the injured list? 43 minutes per game for Booker and Durant. That's not sustainable. They'll be lucky that they're on this side of the bracket, but I guarantee, matter of fact, I guarantee Nuggets in 6. Nuggets in 6. Oops. 6. I knew something was fun. Something looked funny. I'm like, yo, why am I saying 6 and there's 7 fingers up there? Like I said, this is just such a disappointing series. I want to see both these teams go at it full throttle. Even with Kawhi, they had a fighter's chance. Even without Kawhi in game 3, that's a game they should have won. If you're Phoenix and you're struggling with a team without their top 2 players in the first round of the playoffs, is the rest of the league, the rest of the conference supposed to be scared of y'all? I think not. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. These playoffs have been great so far, but injuries have been the top topic of the first round. It's a shame. It's really a shame. But what can you do? I know what I can do. I can let y'all listen to my brother, my bro, the Mojo King, as he plugs himself, pause, and shows yours truly some love.
I am the Mojo King, and I am here to support my brother's podcast and all of his salty thoughts. Alright, let's not say all of his salty thoughts, maybe 90%. He's a bit of a wild man. I am also here to plug my 3 podcasts. Yes, 3 of them. Hidden Gems Golf is a quick 10 to 12 minute pod where I talk long shots on the PGA Tour. Long shots mean big money when they pay off. There is also Hip Hop Hidden Gems, where historian William Freeman and I discuss songs and or artists who deserve more shine. We talked about Big Daddy Kane, Gangstar, Chino XL. We have a West Coast legend coming up. We even featured a little R&B and soul for Valentine's Day. It's a little bit nostalgia and a whole lot of fun. That's Hip Hop Hidden Gems. Lastly, but not leastly, is Hidden Gems Football. That is where me and the great Donnie Yu discuss upcoming NFL action. You already know how Donnie gets down with his spicy takes.
What are you doing? There's no more Donnie Yu.
I'm doing an ad for the salty thoughts of Donnie Yu.
No, not Donnie Yu. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph.
What are you talking about? Who the f*** is Mike Steph? And by the way, Hidden Gems Football is the Mojo King and
Mike Steph.
What? What are you? Nah, I'm out. Screw this.
Hello? And back to you, Mike Steph.
This is bullshit.
That I swear that commercial never gets old. Big shout out to the Mojo King and the Mojo Queen for being so generous with their time to actually plug yours truly. Pause to actually espouse the positivity of the salty thoughts of Mike Steph and the new moniker. Matter of fact, the new platform. Matter of fact, y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I like to thank both of them very, very much. Outro! I don't know why I jumped back like that. But yeah, we've come to the end of another episode. Episode Ocho of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for making me and this here podcast the one y'all choose to listen to. Check me out next week, where I will be still continuing on the path. Well, continuing, recapping the happenings of the NBA playoffs, specifically my New York Knickerbockers and my Golden State Warriors. Yeah, even though I do have some New York Metropolitan apparel on, doesn't mean I'm really going to end up talking about the New York Metropolitans. But I will say this. They just completed their 10-game West Coast swing. Unfortunately, they ended it on a low note, a 2-game losing streak. But for their 10 games, they returned back home to the friendly confines of Citi Field, a robust 7 wins and 3 losses on their West Coast swing. And I need to stop putting my hand up when I'm putting the wrong amount of fingers up. Even though I always know the right amount of fingers to put up something. Ha! Ha ha! Ha ha! Yeah. So maybe I'll talk about the Metropolitans. I probably won't. But only way you'll be able to know is if you check me out next week. This is normally where I give you the plugs. But I'm just going to say what I'm going to say so I can get up out of here because I'm actually making good time. Please check out my brothers from my brothers from the West Coast, my brothers from the land of the sun, Winchester and McDowell, the host of Gimmick Infringement. Yes, Gimmick Infringement. Each and every Monday, they drop on the YouTube streets of the 19 Media Group. Check them out where they recap the past week's happenings in the world of professional wrestling and so much more. Check them out on all streaming platforms wherever podcasts are available. And once again, check them out on the YouTube page of the 19 Media Group. Check out gimmickinfringement.com for the articles that they come out with on a weekly basis most of the time. But regardless of when they drop, they're always food for thought. Check them out. You'll be glad you did. Check out the homies from the Black Wrestling Podcast, the BRP Live, each and every Thursday night at 8:35 on the YouTube page of the Black Wrestling Podcast. Check out the homies Fam, Drip, Math, Cal, the Queen Mimi. Check them out each and every Thursday. Check out the Patreon.com/Black Wrestling. Pay the 1 or pay the 10. You'll be glad you did. And last but not least, check out my homie, my bro, Body More Bottles on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Check out not only B More's #1, but YouTube's #1 reviewer in all alcohol drinks, in all spirits, in all brewskis, in all concoctions, in all cocktails, in all everything. Check out his return, in which he breaks down the numerous ways you can mix a simply cocktail concoction. Yes, Simply has their own wine cooler, so to speak. Check out Body More Bottles for more info, because I just blinked and I just watched the episode 2 days ago. That shows you that I'm getting tired. So it's probably time for me to get out of here. Last but not least, of course, check out me. Yes, that's right, me. The Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, available on the following platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the formerly named Anchor.fm, amongst others. New episodes drop each and every Monday. If you want to follow me on Twitter, follow me at Mike Steffens __ on Twitter, at Mike_Steph on Instagram, and at Mike Steph _ on TikTok. Or if you don't want to follow me, it doesn't really matter. And if you really want to follow the pod, that's right, follow the pod at, well, literally at Mike Steph Pod on Twitter. Shoot me a line, follow me, doesn't really matter, but I appreciate you if you did. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. I really had fun doing this. Hopefully I didn't offend too many people with my red light special bit. But you know the best part about being a man of a certain age, being a happily married man of a certain age? The days of red light specials are actually over. Ain't no red lights. Don't got to worry about parting the Red Sea. I just had to. I swear, like I said, that's the best part of getting old. You don't gotta deal with none of that no more. Shoot. I ain't gotta deal with having any more kids. Guess what? Because that ain't happening either. That's why I have grandchildren. And I'm talking way too much ish. That probably means it's time for me to get out of here. So, like I said, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Please check out the audio version of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph. Please like, follow, subscribe, press the notification button, because if there's a sprinkle of salt that's dropping, trust me, like I said before, and I'll say it again, you want to be the first ones to hear it. Until next week. Goodbye.